Sean mentioned the team defense maybe one of the strengths of this team. Just what have you seen out of your guys defensively?
Real happy. I mean, Sean McHugh, in some ways, could be our best defensive catcher, and he could be our best defensive third baseman, and he's really good with the glove. So he's going to stabilize, one of those positions during the game for us. Brandon Craig has played very good at shortstop. I know last year we kind of put him there out of necessity, and he really hadn't had the reps. But he's had a whole year now of off-season with the reps and has really looked well there. Cody Strong has continued to get better at second. We've got probably a handful of guys that can play second base. And Kyle Wood has stepped up and has played a really good defensive first base. We've got some speed in the outfield. Our outfield, we could start guys that are 6'3", 6'2", and 6'5" in the outfield that all run a sub-7. So we've got some strength and some speed out there. And Picciotti's arm has come back. He had surgery out of high school, and then he had a little bit more corrective surgery this offseason, and it's responded pretty well for him.
Where's Podkal at with his recovery?
He's coming along. He's not quite ready yet. I mean, he's throwing live, and we've got him up to a pitch count, of 30 pitches. Still probably not at a full intensity, but fairly close. He's at 90-95% intensity. So the problem is in his rehab stint, he twisted his knee in his throwing progression, and that set him back probably a month. So, and the knee's got to continue to stay healthy as well. So he's got two things to worry about. But I think worrying about his knee, maybe he's worried a little bit less about his elbow. So,
will he be ready by that first weekend? You think
he will pitch the first weekend? Now, how much we'll see. I mean, it could be a limited stint, it could be a 1-2 inning stint, or it could be 3-4.
Yeah.
We're still determining that, and what he does here in the indoor will determine whether we split a game up with him and maybe Woody, or maybe him and Downs could even share a ball game. But he will pitch, and ideally he'll get a start out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can't make up for experience, and just like the work ethic that we got this year from the guys who kind of didn't know what to expect last year, in the season. So those freshmen that are now sophomores, they realize how hard college baseball is, and so I think this year the work ethic, through everybody though, has been a lot better.
What's it like having your brother in the mix this year?
It's fun. It's different. I always thought high school baseball would kind of be the last time I'd get to play with my little brother, but now that he's here, it's exciting. I mean, the game's a lot faster and he's adjusted really well. Hopefully he'll get to see some innings. He's a good defensive player, and he hit better than I ever did my freshman winter and fall, so hopefully he'll get to see some innings.
What do you think the strength of this team is?
I think this year it's going to be our defense. Schreiber has really, reiterated to us that, if the defense can play solid defense, the pitching and the hitting will come, and it's all kind of contagious. So if we get strong defense, the pitchers will feel more confident pitching, and so then we'll be able to score more runs, I guess.
Younger guys, Sean was talking about maybe the upperclassmen's role is to help slow it down for them and get them the experience they need.
Yeah, but most of our team, I guess most of our team right now is sophomores. There's a few freshmen this year, but I feel like there's enough people with experience from last year, enough returning guys, that we'll be able to get them ready and get them nerves out before we even get down to the South.
Coach Schreiber been giving some good motivation since the way last year ended so far this year?
It's definitely been a different year since last year for my first year here, and this year it's definitely been a change. We're definitely trying to get better for the season. I feel like we're doing more work in the off season, and we're striving to make a better team than what we were last year.
What do you feel like you could improve upon from last year? Just consistency? You feel like a little bit?
Absolutely. Last year I had 2 starts and we got the first inning, so that was bad. But definitely just consistency, especially with the slider. Sliders come a long way. I have 3 pitches now, so I kind of feel like a totally different pitcher.
Yeah. You worked on that slider a lot off season?
Yeah, I didn't have it until I think my Iowa start, which was the last game of the year. And then it kind of just clicked in summer ball. So
yeah. Cool. a Lindblom, Wickren
Yes.
type guy? Do you think you have somebody like that perhaps?
And I've always said at the college level too that having a closer is a little bit of a luxury, because you don't just recruit a guy and say you are our closer.
Yeah.
It's more or less, you're taking a quality arm that probably could pitch in some instances in the starting rotation, and you're putting them in the bullpen. But it does take a different mentality. That guy that can come in and he's got some dominating stuff. And Lindblom and Wickren both kind of evolved into our closers. So we're waiting for someone to kind of step up and evolve into that person. But again, we've got some good options, I think. And Pat Kenny has looked very good. And from the left side, Tim McElroy has shown a little bit more consistency, and both of those guys are going to touch 90. Matt Frawley is a freshman that, he's not going to be a 90-mile-an-hour guy, but he is going to throw strikes and challenge hitters, and he's got good off speed. And then, some guys in the middle like Lutz last year that were, helped us kind of bridge that gap. So, and Brett Hahn's kind of our wild card, because he could start for us if Paco's not quite as healthy. He could give us some innings at the front end and could be a quality reliever for us in the middle or even the back end.
Just you like this lineup? You're still going to have some of the same issues of a year ago with striking out a little? Or?
Yeah, and that's one thing, we'll see. I mean, so far in the fall and the indoor, we've kind of minimized it, but, the other team's pitchers are going to have a lot to say about that. But, Brandon Craig last year, when we put him in the leadoff spot for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I mean, it was electric. And then he struggled a little bit with, putting ball in play consistently, and he finished actually pretty strong. But we're going to put him in that leadoff spot, and we're going to live with him up there a little bit. Maybe not your prototypical leadoff guy, but he does bring speed. He can get on second with just one swing of the bat. And if you have a guy like Cody Strong behind him who doesn't strike out very much, he led our team last year in fewest strikeouts per plate appearances. So he's got a chance to bunt, move, and do some things and get him in scoring position for guys like McHugh and Wood and KJ.
Just with McHugh, you mentioned you play him a little bit catcher and at third. Is that your plan?
Yeah, he'll, ideally, if Picciotti, because he fits, nicely behind the plate for us and offensively in that lineup, and then that puts Sean and puts another good glove in the infield. But if we have to use Sean behind the plate, we definitely will. And actually, his younger brother is someone that can step in for him as a freshman and fill that third base spot for us. And it's nice to have that versatility of a key spot, I think, and because Picciotti's not going to be able to catch every day. Up his back, working as a catcher this year, so he's going to provide some depth and be back there for some innings as well.